Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Jaya Gaur Jaya Nitai Jaya Gaur Jaya Nitai Jaya Gaur Jaya Nitai Jaya Gaur Oh Nitai hai Nitai hai Nitai Gaura hai Gaura hai Gaura hai Gaura hai Gaura hai Oh Jaya Jaya Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radha Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe 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 Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhavaki Gridhare Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Thakur Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Amasto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Amasto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Amasto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Amasto Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Mahabhagavat Shila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apetikriyam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tammayatayo Taravo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Hridi Munimanatoshmi. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astol Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astol Tarasara Shishimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada. And to our most beloved Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namini Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. And all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. So coming to our topic, our text, and we'll read the second 5 Falshrutis, just to remind us of the direction where we're going with our study. We're going to this last verse here, the Amal Prem Seva. This is where we're going. And there's all kinds of pitfalls along the way that the merciful Vaishnavas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur particularly, are illuminating so we don't fall in these holes. Very dangerous. If we fall in one of these traps, thinking that Gyan Kand is more important than Bhakti, and doing so much extra study and so on, thinking that I can crash the gates of heaven by myself, by my own astute intellect and study, I'll be most disappointed, because it's not about what's going on here. What's going on here is important to clear our avidya. But once the avidya is cleared, even to some degree, then we want to quickly bring these truths into the heart and to climb on the horse of lila. We've said so many times that the gyan is like the rider, but the principal focus ultimately of our bhakti is to come into the lila, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That will inspire our hearts. Okay. Jade Dvaita Jnana Hoya Chitta Upadaya Krishna Bhakti Chiradina Upaya Upaya.
Such knowledge which is solely related to the duality of this dull material world, is fit to be rejected, whereas transcendental knowledge of the divine duality within the spiritual world, Chit Jagat, should be accepted forever within one's heart, both as the Upai, means of attainment, and the Upai, goal worthy of
So
attainment.
this divine duality is the lila. It's about the pastimes between Radha and Krishna. This is where the heart will actually melt. And when we begin to appreciate what actually is our relationship with Sri Radha, what is our relationship with Krishna, what is our relationship with the whole spiritual dimension, we have a natural um, attraction there, but it's covered over with so many material, temporary coverings, which gradually will be purified as our this chitta becomes purified by our practice, especially by the potency of Sri Nam. This is what will clear the baggage of avidya from our consciousnesses. Jiva
Jiva
Kabu
Kabu
Jade
Jada
Nai,
Nai,
Hari
Hari
Kabu
Kabu
Nai,
Nai,
Hari
Hari
Saha
Saha
Jiva
Jiva
Chintya
Chintya
Beda
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 Mai.
Mai. The Jiva is not a product of dull matter, nor is he Kevala Advaita, absolutely one in all ways with Sri Hari. The Jiva is inconceivably different and non different from Hari.
Such a beautiful verse. Such a beautiful verse. Consider it all. The jiva is not a product of dull
Dharma.
matter. This dull matter that we're considering is my everything, my body, and all my problems, which I love. I'm so attached to all my difficulties and problems. I take great delight in trying to solve all my various material problems. I spend my whole energy in my life trying to solve my problems. It brings me great happiness. Otherwise, why would I do it?
Hmm.
Why would I do that route? That route? And I'm not Keval Advaita. I'm not one with Krishna, this Mayavad conception. But this inconceivable difference and non-difference with Hari. I am a part of Krishna, yet different, distinct from Krishna. This Chintya Abheda. Very nice. Deha kaba
Dekabu
jivanai,
Jivanai,
dhara
Dhara
bhogyanai,
Bhogyanai,
dasa
Dasya
bhogya
Bhogya
jiva
Jiva
Krishna
Krishna
prabhu
Prabhu
bhakta
Bhakta
hai.
Hai. The material body should never be considered to be the Jiva, and this earth is not for the Jiva to exploit and enjoy.
In every way, he's saying, so appreciate the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He doesn't waste any words. It's all explicit. That this, first of all, we shouldn't consider the material body as
As us.
ourself. So this takes a huge step to actually purify out of that false ego and come to the pure ego platform. And this can be attained. We should have absolute faith. It's actually so boring sitting on the false ego platform all the time. Don't we get tired of it? Always I, me, and mine, constantly spinning around like this. But coming off that platform and just seeing myself as an essential servant of Krishna in my swarup, in my particular spiritual form, and how can I render service to that divine couple? And then, well, yeah, not, and this earth is not to enjoy and exploit.
Hmm.
This is demonic mentality, absolutely demonic. When I'm thinking I'm going to squeeze some pleasure out of this earthly existence, this is demonic, actually. This is not the purpose of life, to try and make myself materially satisfied and happy here. Because actually, I will never, if I get all of my material desires fulfilled, what will happen? New material desires will manifest, and it'll go on perpetually, never stopping, without cease. Yehi samspashaja boga dukkha yone etevita adyantavanta kuntaya na teshu ramate bude. Saying in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, that the wise man, he's not attracted to all these flickering material pleasures. He knows they're all temporary. So he actually focuses on what is eternal. Yehi samspasaja yoga.
The Jiva's Swarup is Krishna Das, and thus he is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, whereas Sri Krishna's Swarup is Prabhu, Master, and Bhokta, enjoyer.
You see, in every verse, there's a Tatashta Lakshan in the first line and
Swarup.
Swarup Lakshan in the second line. There's like the prohibitions in the first line, and in the second line, there's actually what is real spiritual progress. Just like Anyabilasatashanyam, Jnana Karmadhyabhina, that's the Tatashta Lakshan. And then the Swarup Lakshan, Anukulyena Krishnano Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. This is the Swarup Lakshan. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has broken these verses in the same way. Jaiva Dharma nahi ache, Deya Dharma Kata, nahi ache Jiva Jnane Maya Vada Prata.
This book, entitled Jaiva Dharma, neither discusses matters related to the dead material body, nor does it propound the Mayavada doctrine of the Jiva's oneness with Brahm.
So this is all Tatashta Lakshan, this particular verse. Jiva Nitya Dharma Bhakti Thaye Jadanai, Shuddha Jiva Prema Seva Phala Payatai.
The Jiva's Nitya Dharma is bhakti devoid of material motivation. The Jiva, purified by Seva, attains the fruit of that Seva in the form of prema.
So this verse is the Swarup Lakshan. So he's put those two verses together, but it's consistent all the way through. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the master of how to bring these incredible conceptions into the world of language. The world of language is always crippled. It never will fully satisfy. It's always going to run short. But what else do we have? What other medium do we have except language? So if someone is so skilled, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote his first poem when he was 2 years old. His first poem about a crow. Oh, Mr. Crow, I can't remember what it was, but a beautiful poem about a crow when he was 2 years old. So all of these Bengali writings, they're all in poetic meter. So from such an early age, he exhibited the quality of a kavi, a poet, like Srila Krishna's Kaviraj. Wrote so many verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vedavyas, so many verses he's writing in Sanskrit. So these are such masters of language, and with so much compassion behind them. Actually, all the compassion, where's it coming from? It's all coming from Sri Radha. This is all a demonstration. Whenever we see this compassion mood, it's ultimately coming from Sri Radhika. Sri Radhika has more attraction for Krishna than Krishna has for Radha. Radha actually, the quality of compassion is more potent within Radhika's heart than in Krishna. This is a phenomenon. Radhastami is coming in what, a couple of weeks, something, 10 days. So we can start to consider all the specialities of Sri Radhika. But always it's her current that's coming through this line. So this current of compassion that Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Kamala Manjari. Remember when Radhika, she sees the darkness that is unfolding for 100 years within our line after Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan. Practically there was 100 years when there was no prominent acharya taking this Gaudiya conception into the world. It became very much covered. There was finally Jagannath Das Babaji. There was always the Vaishnava activity going on, but there was no prominent acharya. So therefore, these conceptions became down somewhat. And Radhika, she was aware of this. And what did she do? She threw her lotus into this world, that Kamala. She threw it into the world. That Kamala takes the form of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. His identity as a Manjari is Kamala Manjari. That's who he is. So he takes the form of that Kamala, that lotus, empowered by the Shakti. How do we say? Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gauda Shakti Swarupaya. What is the Shakti of Gaura? Gadadha. Who is Gadadha? Sri Radha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadha Pandit have both their disappearance days on the same day. Bhaktivinoda Thakur decided to leave in honor of Gadadha Pandit on the same day. So we should consider like this. It's all Radhika's energy. The sadhak wants to become familiar with the predominance of Radhika. because ultimately the sadhaka in this line is embracing the lotus feet of Radhika. We want to be a Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. We are knowing by performing that Krishna will be satisfied. But our principal focus is not pleasing Krishna directly, but by pleasing Radhika and to develop. This is what we have heard from all of our acharyas. They're all saying the same thing. All of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, etc. Who is that person who will not serve Sri Radhika? Let me just read one song quickly, just to emphasize this point, if I can find it quickly enough. If Krishna wants to be merciful to me. Just 1 second. I didn't prepare to say this, but there's some. He's saying, if the desire, this is Radha Bhajane Jadi. If the desire to worship Sri Radha does not arise, then your worship of Krishna goes in vain. We cannot conceive of the sun without the sunlight. Similarly, we cannot accept Madhav separate from Radha. One who worships only Madhav is ignorant, and one who disrespects Sri Radha is simply conceited. Do not ever associate with such persons if your heart longs for the loving playfulness of Brajaras. Brajaras is that world of Sri Radhika, that contemplation. If you consider yourself to be a maidservant of Srimati Radhika, then very quickly you will attain Kana of Gokul. We know that Brahma, Shiva, Narad, personified Vedas, and Narayani, Lakshmi Devi, all worship the dust of Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. The revealed scriptures declare that Uma, Rama, Satya, Shachi, Chandravali, and Rukmini are all Radha's expansions. So don't worship separately from Radhika. Bhaktivinoda Thakur begs at the feet of those whose wealth is the service of Sri Radhika. And then he sings in this Sata Kota Gopi. He sings about Radhika. Millions of lovely cowherd damsels are unable to keep Madhava's attention, despite their great endeavor to do so. The flute song calls the name Radhika. Come here, Radhe. Petitions Shyam. When he goes in search of Sri Radha, the rasa dance comes to a halt, exclaiming, "O Radha, please save my life and give me your darshan." Kana weeps in the forest. This is the origin. This is Shaktiman is weeping for his Shakti. So in Tattva Vichar, we understand Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matahasar. Krishna is that supreme person. But in Rasa Vichar, Radhika, when she's in a mood of Swadhina Bhartika, she completely controls her lover. The personality that they control is reversed. Embracing Sri Radha and reconciling with her in a secluded grove, Sri Hari revives his life. He says, "Without you, what is the question of performing ras? Only because of you do I live in Braj." Only because of Radha. Not because of the prayers by Lord Brahma, everything, but because of Radha. Finally, he says, weeping at the lotus feet of this Radhika, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Count me among your personal associates and keep me as your maidservant." So my point is that Radhika has to become prominent in our practice and meditation. Hare Krishna. There's more names of Radha in the Maha Mantra than Krishna. 16 names altogether. 8 names are Radha, 8 names are Krishna, 4 names are Krishna, and 4 names are Ram. Same personality, but different names. But Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Always Radhika actually dominant. And we know that this will lead to our highest welfare, because this will give us that opportunity that Mahaprabhu has come to directly give. What's he come to give? He's come to give Swabhakti Shriyam. He's come to give the beauty of his own bhakti. His own bhakti is Radhika. And the beauty of Radhika are her manjaris, her maidservants. So intimately connected, tadatmik with Radha. Whatever Radha is feeling, Radharani can empower those manjaris to experience the same experience. So this is the fortune of the conditioned jiva. He has that opportunity because Mahaprabhu has said like this. God himself is saying like, so it must be a fact. It must be true. If he himself has said, God doesn't lie in that. He might lie to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, but he doesn't give falsehoods of that description when he's describing our fortune. And it requires a process that we're in process of unpacking and moving through. So yesterday, basically, we were going through a whole beautiful list of all the angas, the 64 angas. And all of these are beautiful contemplations. And even though it's like in a list, it might get a little tedious and so on, but nevertheless, try to meditate on each one as we mention it. And we don't even have to try. Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is going to open up each anga and explain. This is what the whole rest of this chapter is about, explaining these angas one by one by one, carefully. Not just a whole list like in a schoolroom or something, but there are given these angas for our advantage in achieving the dust of Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. That's why they're here. Okay, so we're on page 462. After the first paragraph, a Brahman adorned.
A Brahmin who is adorned with these qualities and who is honored by the whole society can be Guru to people from any of the other Varnas.
From all the other varnas. Oh, I realized yesterday, just an interesting note for anybody, there are different editions because what you were speaking yesterday was quite different to what I have in my book, actually, the language. They've gone over that edition further. I didn't realize that so much. It's quite different, but it's okay. It's okay.
Of any of the other Varnas or caste. If there is no such Brahmin, one can become the disciple of a Guru who is situated in a higher Varna than himself. But the principal import of these regulations is that, leaving all considerations of Varnashrama aside, wherever a sincere soul finds a person who knows Krishna Tattva, he can accept him as his Guru.
It's a matter of shraddha. And you will automatically put your shraddha in someone who is able to speak clearly what is Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Radha Tattva, Maya Tattva, Jiva Tattva, etc. If these tattvas are clearly expressed, then we can have confidence in that person's erudition, we can say. At least he understands this. But then we have to consider what's that? Tasmat Kuru Prapadeta, Jignashu Shremutam, Shabde Paretanishnatam, Brahmani Upashama Shreyam. That not only knowledge and not only realization of knowledge, but also complete and utter detachment from everything in this material world. These three qualifications: first knowledge, and then realization of that knowledge, and then total detachment are the qualification for Guru.
There is two Tatastha and one Swarupa Lakshana. Like detachment and knowledge is Tatastha, and realization is
Swarup
Swarupa
Lakshana.
Lakshana.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay.
It may be that the above mentioned qualities are found in a person born in a Brahmin family, but those who carry pride in being born into a higher varna in the dynasty of Aryans can offer no more than conveniences to a person who accepts him as his guru. Only a genuine devotee is a guru in truth. Shastra provides the rules by which the Guru and the disciple are to mutually examine each other, as well as the time required for this examination period. The purport is that the Guru will bestow his mercy upon the disciple only when he sees that the disciple is qualified and when the disciple has developed genuine faith in him, understanding him to be a pure devotee, Shuddha Bhakta.
This is the best principle. But at the same time, we should appreciate the need for people, general people who are just coming to this path, to feel a part of being a devotee. My Gurudev, for example, he instructed us that Hari Nam should be quite liberally given. Then someone has a devotee name. So they're starting to transform their mental reality of their own identity. If you give a conditioned soul a devotee name, he starts to associate with that devotee within him. And then more quickly, he's able to make progress. So the Harinam initiation, or not initiation, is just basically a name giving, and you can have a name giving ceremony, etc. The principal initiation is Diksha, and this Diksha should be timely. It should be kept on hold for as long as the sadhak hasn't properly developed these qualities. This has to be the consideration. But for Harinam, that can be very liberally bestowed on the suffering jivas, and you can give the mala. Of course, how else are they going to proceed without a mala? And when they have a name, it makes them feel part of a devotee community, and then others can relate to them with a devotee name. So they're starting to develop their Vaishnava identity. But Diksha is another consideration after this. This is what he's talking about mostly. This Diksha is the most important initiation. There are two kinds of guru.
There are two kinds of Guru: the Diksha Guru, or initiating spiritual master, who gives sacred mantras to the disciple, and the Siksha Guru, or the instructing spiritual master. One has to accept mantra initiation, Diksha, as well as
Just a moment.
instruction.
I have to get the same edition as you. My edition is so different to what you're reading.
Is it?
Yes, completely different. I'll read you what my edition says. There are two kinds of guru, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. One has to accept Diksha from the Shiksha Guru. At the same time, one also has to take Shiksha concerning Archan, deity worship. There is one Diksha Guru, but there can be several Shiksha Gurus. The Diksha Guru is also competent to act as Shiksha Guru. It's completely different. So, what is the page in your book?
463.
Just a second. I want to follow what you're saying.
Here the words are much simpler
Are they?
than yours.
Okay. Actually, just a little bit of history. We first of all published the blue edition, and then maybe we were with one devotee, Aranya Maharaj, who is praying Prayojan today, and 4 or 5 other very scholarly personalities, and we sat for 6 months with that blue edition in Durvasa Ashram, and we combed it through every single word to try to verify it, make it completely authentic, along with the Bengali edition and the Hindi edition. We had these two editions simultaneously. So we combed it through for authenticity. And then we published this green edition. And now this other edition has actually manifested. So I believe that we're very, very fortunate it hasn't been interpolated in any kind of way. Many of the other spiritual books around, not in our Sangha, but in other Sanghas, have been completely, in ISKCON I'm talking about, the Bhagavad Gita in particular, is interpolated. But sorry, what was the page again?
463, Maharaj.
463. Okay, got it.
And we are in the.
I got it.
There are two kinds of Guru: the Diksha Guru, or initiating spiritual master, who gives sacred mantras to the disciple, and the Siksha Guru, or the instructing spiritual master. One has to accept mantra initiation, Diksha, as well as instruction, Shiksha, regarding the process of archan, deity worship from the Diksha Guru.
If we want to do archan, which many times is the
Vaidhi.
catalyst for taking diksha, how can you offer your boga if you don't actually have diksha? How can you? My Gurudev used to say that all the potency are within the mantras. The mantras contain the potency. So if you don't have those mantras, then how can you effectively? Krishna knows the mantras. When we're chanting the bona fide mantras, Krishna will easily accept that boga. He will easily accept those offerings. And Guru, this process, mantra is so potent and so powerful. But these Diksha mantras don't exist on the other side of the Viraja River. They will take us to that Viraja River. They will always support our Nam Bhajan. But it's only the Hare Krishna mantra which actually goes across that river. That Hare Krishna mantra will go right into Goloka Vrindavan. But the Diksha mantras don't actually. Nevertheless, we must have these Diksha mantras. Yeah.
From there is one Diksha Guru, but there can be several Shiksha Gurus. The Diksha Guru is also competent to give instruction as Shiksha Guru.
Sometimes we say the Rup is the Diksha Guru and the Swarup is the Shiksha Guru. They're non-different in one sense. If you take full shelter of a Shiksha Guru, then my Gurudev always would describe it like the Shiksha Guru generally is more available to the practitioner. Perhaps the Diksha Guru we will feel more awe and veneration for. But the Shiksha Guru can be more familiar, that we can actually talk with about our difficulties, etc. And the Shiksha, and like you're saying, many Shiksha Gurus, we can have 10, 15 Shiksha Gurus, guiding personalities. Actually, in Bhagavatam, the 24 Gurus in the 11th canto, they're all like instructing, like the sun, like the python, like the honeybee, like the prostitute Pingal. All of these different gurus are there in the 24 gurus. Dattatreya is speaking this beautiful
Uddhava Geet.
Uddhav Geet. Yes, very beautiful.
Vijay, the Diksha Guru is not to be rejected, but if he is incompetent to give Sat Siksha, how can he actually be a Siksha Guru? Babaji, before accepting a Guru, one should examine him to see that he is expert in his understanding of the Tattva, fundamental principles regarding the absolute truth, spoken of in the Vedas, and that he has realized the absolute, supreme absolute reality, Paratattva.
So how can you judge that if you don't know the supreme reality yourself? Huh?
Hmm.
How can you judge it? How can you judge who is Guru?
We can,
Huh?
we cannot.
Not really, but something intuitively.
Hmm.
Srila Jiva Goswami, he says in his Sandarbhas that intuitively we know what is right and what is wrong in Shastra.
Hmm.
We know intuitively what is the bhakti sa, what is the essence. If I am sincere, if I've understood that bhakti, this path of devotion to the lotus feet of the divine couple, is my essence of life, then I will hear with my ears the principles of tattva. And if I hear something that is discordant
Hmm.
with that truth, my innate nature will recognize that. So it's a natural proclivity. It's actually the sincerity of the disciple. And if the disciple is insincere and is just looking at the charisma or something of like this of the personality, he'll be attracted by something external and he'll be given that external. He'll be cheated. But if he's attracted to the inner appreciation, then he will hear that from Guru. So it's a natural sequence. Sometimes I can remember, because myself personally, I had two gurus before I met Bhaktivedanta Narayan, and I was just pushed along by a group consciousness. the group was heralding one particular person as the guru. So I was too shy initially as a young bhakta to be able to make my own decision. I was too much thinking, oh yes, they must all be right. These devotees must be very great. They must have judged them. So I was following along. And even when my Gurudev was on the planet, so many people came to his camp simply because it was so big. And they had the same idea that bigness is going to give me the real thing. And maybe it doesn't. There are gurus like Sai Baba, etc. There are many, many
Correct.
God men, they call them in India, that get flocks and thousands of, and more people come because they see more people are there. So we have to be a little discriminatory if we're able to be, and to take this practice seriously, individually, and examine it. Take some deep breaths, sit back from the crowd, and understand where am I going with this, and then make our decision personally. It really has to be that way. Okay.
If so, then he will certainly be capable of giving comprehensive instruction on all tattvas. Normally, there is no question of giving up the Diksha Guru.
Diksha Guru, he knows all rasas, Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhurya. The Diksha Gurus in our life are all ultimately focused on the Madhurya aspect. My Gurudev used to say constantly that anyone who comes to the flag of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is practically assured of being in having the staiba for Madhurya Ras, having the eligibility to embrace these highest, otherwise you wouldn't be attracted to come to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is blowing his conch, calling everyone. And those who are in that Madhurya mood, they will come to his call. They will heed his call internally. This is not just an external path. There are many subtle things taking place that we're not slightly aware of at all. We think I'm independently going through this world, making all my own decisions. And that's true to a degree because we ultimately have independence. But there are other forces at work also that are influencing us one way or another. The devas can influence. If the devas are supportive of our sincere seeking of bhakti, they want to give us this bhakti. They can't get the same fruit that we are able to get. They are queuing up to take birth in this Kali Yuga, but they can influence. Paramatma also can influence us in that direction. If they judge that we genuinely want this, the fruit, this Amal Prem Seva, this Seva to who? Sri Radhika. I just explained. This is the focus that we want to cultivate. This is the focus that our line is, because it's not only Bhaktivinoda Thakur who's saying this. Narottam Das is saying this. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying this. Rupa Goswami is definitely saying this. Sanatan Goswami is saying this. Jiva Goswami is saying. They are all emphasizing the same Ishtadev as Radhika. They are all emphasizing this. So this is nothing radical or anything, but it's radical for us to actually, because when we first come, we're coming usually through the Bhagavad Gita, through instructions like this. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So first of all, especially for the Westerner who didn't even know about Krishna previously, we come to this conception. And then we come to the conception of Krishna being in Vrindavan. So that's a whole nother quantum leap of appreciation out of Aishwarya into Madhurya. And then we come that Krishna is being controlled, first of all, by his mother. His mother is controlling him. And then we come to understand that the gopis are actually controlling Krishna. So it's further stages of transforming our consciousnesses to bring it to the full-blown spiritual appreciation of this magnificence of this path that we are in, this Gaudiya, this Gaudiya, Madhva Gaudiya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's very, very, very special. Mahaprabhu has sanctified it so powerfully. It's not the same as the Sri Sampradaya. That is Lakshmi Devi, Ramanuja. It's not the same as Nimbaditya. They're not the same. They're not. Mahaprabhu didn't come in those lines. He came in this line. Why? He wanted to empower, especially the Goswamis were all direct shishyas, we can say, of Mahaprabhu. This is what we're receiving. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a direct shishya. He's called the Saptam Goswami, the seventh. Why? He unveiled all the holy places of Navadvip. He revealed the Yog Pit. We wouldn't have known any of these places without Bhaktivinoda Thakur revealing them to us. So he did the same principles as all the Goswamis. He wrote so many books as the Goswamis did. He did so many things exactly the same way. So he is also to be considered fully as one of the shishyas of Chaitanya. But even more, he's one of the shishyas of Gadadhar. He introduced Gaur Gadadhar worship. He introduced this. This wasn't there previously. And his original deities are in, what's it called? His birthplace, Rangat? No, I can't remember just now. But we have in the Swananda Sukata Kunj, Gaur Gadadhar, and these were actually installed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. But those original deities of Gaur Gadadhar that Bhaktivinoda Thakur would worship are with his eldest son, Lalit Prasad, and they are in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's birthplace. So I'll remember it in a minute. Okay.
A guru should be abandoned, however, if either of these two circumstances prevail.
So we're allowed to walk away from guru if he's not bona fide. If you stay with a guru who is unbona fide, that's purely out of sentiment. Sometimes people become sentimentally attracted to the nice Vaishnava sweet qualities of a guru, even though he may be lacking in Siddhanta, etc. This is not encouraged. It's like, for example, if you come into a dirty room, that means it's full of ignorance. If you don't clean that room, or if you don't leave that place, then you also become in ignorance. So if guru is speaking some false Siddhanta, like, for example, we fell from the spiritual world, if he's speaking like that, he's not qualified, because we didn't fall from the spiritual world. It's clearly revealing. We've come from that Tatashta region, from Chit Shakti, into this world. And if he's supporting something of that nature, how can he be accepted as Sadguru? That's a high principle. And if he's not honoring other Vaishnavas, then how can he be accepted as Sadguru? If he's committing so many aparads and offenses to... We see the examples of Prem Das Babaji in the first chapters, especially chapter 8, of their association with each other, when they're all Anantadas Babaji and Gaurachand Babaji, all the different personalities who are associating with their mutual respect for each other. This is what Vaishnavism is about, not about trying to enviously chop off someone who we know perhaps knows more than us. They become envious of someone. This is not Vaishnava at all. So they should be actually given up.
Number 1. The disciple may have accepted the guru without having first examined the guru's knowledge of tattva, or whether or not the guru's qualities are befitting a Vaishnava, or without carefully observing the guru's other qualifications.
Therefore, it's on the part of the shishya, of the disciple, to understand these truths. You shouldn't just go blindly into some group because there's some big charismatic guru and not examine his character, his tattva, etc. I mean, I made this mistake. I hadn't read Jaiva Dharma when I was young devotee. I didn't understand these truths. But a devotee coming into this conception of Vaishnavism now, if he's given access to being cautioned, please, my dear friend, examine carefully before you make that step. Make sure that your guru is tattvavit. Because we sing, what is it? Nikunja Yuno, Ratikeli Sita. We sing every day in a Guru Vastika. Guru is actually assisting Radha and Krishna's meeting together. So if Guru doesn't know Siddhanta and Tattva, How can he possibly be doing that activity? He can't. So again, we will be cheated. But I'm convinced this is because we want to be cheated. We ourselves are not sincere. The cheaters and the cheated, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada spoke about. If you are minimizing the truth for yourself, then you will get that return. It's imperative to hold to the truth. Okay. Read that again.
Later,
The disciple may
the
have
disciple may have accepted the Guru without having first examined the Guru's knowledge of Tattva.
because he doesn't know the knowledge of tattva already. So how can he examine the knowledge of tattva? Very difficult.
Very difficult.
So what I said, the sincerity of the disciple should give him an awareness of that.
Or whether or not the Guru's quality are befitting a Vaishnava.
He doesn't even know a Vaishnava. He doesn't know what the quality should be. So the poor conditioned soul can be very bewildered.
Yes.
He doesn't have a lot of, so he may go down the wrong trail for some years.
Or without carefully observing the Guru's other qualifications. Later, however, he may experience that the Guru is unable to help him spiritually.
We should feel that connection with Guru, that my Guru is always with me. We should have that kind of absolute conviction. I have this conviction with my Gurudev. He never leaves me for a moment. I can connect with him 50, 60 times in a day. He's always there. And because he's always there, Radhika is always there. And all our Guru Parampara is there. Because that is the plug-in point to the rest of our line. If you have that Sadguru, and he should be there constantly, and you should be able to reference to call him. Later, however, he may experience that the Guru is unable to help him spiritually.
One who is in this situation should give up that Guru. Many passages in Shastra provide evidence of this. Yo vyaktir nyaya rahitam anyena shrunati yaha tva udbhavu narakam ghoram vrajatah kalam akshayam. Haribhakti Vilas. Both he who possesses both he who poses as an acharya but who performs an act of injustice, that is, who gives instructions that are opposed to the Satvata Shastras, scriptures that elucidate pure bhakti, and the disciple who mistakenly listens to him will reside in a terrible hell for an unlimited period of time.
What do you think of that? That's intense. That's heavy. That's not something to be speculated about. We must be very, very careful. This is the age of Kali. It's packed with demons. Packed. Governments are completely, all the governments of the planet are fully asuric. All of them. Their motivations are exploitation of the people and generating fear to the people. This is their principal motivation. These are the qualities of demons. And even in spiritual societies, there are Kali Chelas, it's described. They don't have any interest in pure spiritual precepts. They are concerned with something else in this material world. So it's not easy, actually, to find Sadguru. We have to intuitively, it depends on us, on our sincerity and our personal practice. If we are determined to come to the absolute truth, then very quickly Krishna can provide that good satsanga for us. But if our essential desires are separate and we still have so many material desires for this worldly life, we will be hijacked. And what will be the result? This
Hell.
unlimited period of time in hell. It's intense.
Guror api avaliptasya karyamakaryam ajanatah utpatha pratipannasya parityago vidiyate. Mahabharata, Udyoga Parva, and Narada Pancharatra. It is indeed obligatory to reject a guru who does not know what is appropriate for the disciple and what is not, and who one finds to be on the wrong path, either because of bad association or because he is antagonistic to the Vaishnavas.
Must be very careful.
Avaishnavopadishtena mantrena niryam vrajet punascha vidina samyak grahid Vaishnavad Guru Hari Bhakti Vilas. One who goes to hell, one goes to hell if he accepts mantras from a guru who is not a Vaishnava. That is, from one who associates with women and who is devoid of Krishna Bhakti. If one has accepted mantras from such a false guru, according to the regulations of Shastra, one should receive the mantras again from a bona fide Vaishnava
Don't be
guru.
shy to do that. If that situation arises, this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is encouraging. If that situation arises, this is Kali Yuga, we should expect these discrepancies to appear and be cautious, and we should know. But this puts the onus on the Shishya all the way through. We must study Shastra personally, not expect to. Actually, no miracles are going to happen except the miracles at the bottom of our hearts. It's up to us to connect with Guru. We must do this appreciation of Guru's tattvavit eligibility. We should be able to see like that.
Number two, one's guru may be rejected if, due to the influence of bad association, asat sangha, he becomes a Mayavadi or an antagonist to the Vaishnavas. Even if he was a Vaishnava when the disciple accepted him as his guru, and as well
And was well.
and was well versed in the principles of spiritual truth,
So
tattva.
it can sometimes be like this. Initially, the guru can be very sincere and practicing, but then because of some pratishta, perhaps if he's glorified excessively, then he can become distracted by that. And actually, it will be seen that that will be his main motivation, was to be glorified himself rather than nourish his shishyas and disciples. That was actually all along his real motivation, because it will come out that way. So that can happen. Sometimes you can accept initially, and then later on, that guru might deviate. And it's very, very disturbing to the shishya when his guru does deviate. It's described as a big disturbance when someone poses as guru and then comes off that platform. It's a big disturbance everywhere. It makes people unfaithful. And to engender faith is not easy, because it's like a nebulous quality. It's not something tangible like that. It's something you have to build on, build on, build on. And then if it's smashed down, then will your faith be? But if you're sincerely faithful initially, if your focus is on the supreme reality from the beginning, and you can read the supreme reality even in the words of Bhagavad Gita, it's there. I mean, the final precept of surrender unto Krishna, we understand, is Sharanagati, is not actually Shuddha Bhakti, because it's about me surrendering. Nevertheless, in the commentaries all the way through, we can sense what is, especially in the 12th chapter, what is Shuddha Bhakti. It's there written. So if we have the sincerity, we will catch that then and carry that truth through.
Maharaj, I have a question. So in Kali Yuga, as you said, there are like many pseudo gurus like that, and there are so many sincere souls, but they get into such traps. What would be the reason? Is it aparadha in the means?
Lack of sincerity in the disciple, ultimately. Of course, they're weak, so they haven't studied. We can never say, I never say, that it's someone else's fault about something. If I'm suffering for some reason, I can never point the finger
Hmm.
and say, well, it's his fault. It's always my fault. It's my ignorance that I got myself into this situation. It's my problem. Then I can solve it. If I try and think it's someone else's problem, then I can't solve that. So if I am misled by a false guru, I will think this is my bad karma. This is my unfortunate situation. I have to rectify it. And
Because
then
getting a guru doesn't depend on karma, right? It is on Sukriti.
on Sukriti, yes.
So
But
how
at the same time, my karma is still like spinning around if he's not Sadguru. If he's not pure guru, then your karma is still going on. We can't pretend something is mystically real when it's not. So your karma is still going on. But always what I say is true. The onus should be on us. It's my fault. It's my mistake. Why didn't I study more previously to accepting this? Oh, this person has helped me in so many ways from the past. We should not be disrespectful at any point in time. To the various gurus that I had previously, I've offered them all respect, but I've just told them politely that I no longer want to stay there. There's never any discord necessarily. That's not necessary. But then we just go in the direction that we want to go, because we know that this life is very short. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the urgency there. If you're with a guru, if you're with someone who's not nourishing you internally, then there's some problem. Of course, first of all, I examine myself. Is it my response? Am I not able to follow what Guru is saying? Then it's my fault again there. But problems can always be solved from the individual's resolve, not from pointing the finger. Prabhupada, you say you point the finger here and there's three pointing back at you. So that's not the way to, it's not about demeaning or minimizing other people. It's about elevating ourselves.
should we continue?
Hmm?
Should we continue?
Where are we up to? Just let me find. No, we can stop there. So you read that number 2. One's guru.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe I read it again. One's guru may be rejected if, due to the influence of bad association, asat sangha, he became a mayavad or an antagonist to the Vaishnavas. Even if he was a Vaishnava, my point is that at the beginning he may be good. We've seen this many times, but later, due to his bad association or pratishta, he can collapse. When the disciple accepted him as his guru and was well versed in the principles of spiritual truth, tattva. Okay, this is a fascinating topic. We'll finish one more paragraph, Guru,
Okay.
and then we'll come to the next question. It is actually one's
It is
duty.
actually one's duty to give up such a guru. However, if one has accepted a guru who is neither a Mayavadi, antagonistic to the Vaishnavas, nor attached to sinful activities, it is inappropriate to reject him simply because his spiritual knowledge is meager. One should still respect him as Guru, and with his permission, one should go to another exalted Vaishnava who is well versed in knowledge of spiritual truth and take instruction, shiksha from him, serving him with one's full capacity.
Yes, this is what I said at the end, that actually we should not disrespect that person who may have helped us initially come into this path, this Vartma Prakash Guru, that initial introduction, and then has even given us Diksha. So we've practiced for some time, so we shouldn't be disrespectful. We have no problem in that. But now I understand I have to take shelter of somewhere else. So I think it's all very clear. We have to use our common sense.
It's saying that we need to take permission from such a guru.
Yes?
What if he is not willing? That he's saying, no, you just do what?
Then that's more indicative of his fallen nature. I mean, I took permission from my second guru, and when I asked him, I told him I wanted to. I first of all asked him, could I chant the pranams of Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj? And he said straight away to me, bring me his books. He wanted his books. So he was more or less blessing me in that direction. This is a open-hearted type of person. But I knew this person wasn't going to carry me where I wanted to go. But nevertheless, but if someone is very attached to you as being part of their group and wants to make some battle, so to speak, this is more indicative of their fallen nature. In that case, they should be just ignored and quietly offer pranam, and then no more need for interaction, and just go your own way. But we have to be firm about this, not sentimental. Sentimental means the senses are mental. Don't hover in that ambivalent place. Be cutting. If we are sincere, we will be able to do it. Krishna will give us the intelligence every single time to do it in a sattvic way, not in a rajasic way. Okay? Jai Shri Guru Garanga ki jai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Vaishnava Dharma ki jai. Jai Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhaveva Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.